Representative Jim Walsh is our first speaker, and he was elected in 2016 to the Washington House of Representatives and sworn into office on December 8th. He represents the 19th District, which includes Cowlitz, Grays Harbor, Lewis, Pacific, Thurston, and Whatcom. I can't even pronounce that properly. Sorry, Whatcom. So, thank you, Jim.
Thanks. Well, I guess we start with the right words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those rights are the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When that document was written some 250 years ago, the King of England was treating the people of the United States very badly indeed, taking away their property, taking away their privacy, taking away their right to speech, taking away their money, and most importantly, taking away their freedom of conscience, the ability to believe what they choose to believe and live their lives accordingly. There were persecutions based on religious faith, and there were persecutions based on membership in political parties at that time. And so the people of this country revolted and cut off their ties to England and developed a country which had never existed before, one in which political power was inherent in the people, not in leaders, and that the people choose leaders. But the founders didn't even call the people who are leaders, they called them servants. The idea of the founders of the United States and of Washington State was that people who are elected to public office are not above the people, they are below the people. They serve the people. And that's something that we have forgotten from time to time in this country and in this state. The power of this state, of Washington, and the power of the United States comes from the people. We talk about the Declaration of Independence, which is what this great line is taken from, but the constitutions of the United States and of Washington State, which has its own constitution, are even more important in the mechanics of protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our state constitution in Washington is brilliant. It's one of the reasons I live here and haven't moved away, as so many others have, to other states. The Washington State Constitution in many ways is clearer and stronger even than the federal Constitution, the national Constitution. The Washington State's Constitution's description of the right to keep and bear arms, in the federal Constitution, the Second Amendment, in the state Constitution, Article 1, Section 24, is even stronger. It does not make any reference to a well-regulated militia, a term in the federal Constitution that confuses people. It states very clearly that that right to keep and bear arms in defense of yourself and your community and the state is an individual right that cannot be taken away from you. The state constitution also refers to the right to have property that is not taken from you unfairly by the government. And again, the state constitution speaks to these rights in even clearer language than the federal constitution. The state constitution has an explicit right to privacy, which is only implied by the federal Constitution, an explicit right to privacy that also protects your right to your possessions and your property. The state constitution says you cannot be disturbed in your person or your affairs or your property without the due process of law. And as I mentioned before, probably the most important right that really makes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness possible is the right to freedom of conscience. This is related often, when you talk to lawyers and judges, to the right to practice religion, and it is related to that. But the right to freedom of conscience is even broader and deeper than the right to practice religion as you choose. It is so important that we protect the right of every individual to be free in his or her own thoughts and beliefs and emotions and heart. What tyrannical governments do first, before they imprison people, before they start wars, the first thing that tyrannical governments do is they invade people's thoughts. They invade people's beliefs. They tell people what they can and cannot believe. And we are seeing that here in our country and in this state today. It's not just media, although you'll hear people talk about the government control of media. It's more than just media. It is governmental agencies, bureaucratic agencies, that in their arrogance think they can tell people what is true and what is false, what can be believed and what cannot be believed, what can be spoken and what cannot be spoken. The way we honor the people who fought in Vietnam, both American soldiers and the Vietnamese nationals, the way we can honor what happened in the war there is by making sure that the tyrants who would take property and take religion and take privacy and take conscience do not prevail. It's always a battle. Liberty is always a battle. It never ends. There is no final place where we are guaranteed the freedoms that we want in this country, in this state. We have to fight for them always. And sometimes that fight is a war with guns and tanks and planes, but more often that fight is in our communities, is in our civil society, is in how we talk to our neighbors, how we talk to our friends, our family, and even the people we don't like that well, how we talk to people, how we engage them. And if we will protect civil society where my rights are protected as yours are too, then we honor these people we remember today. I can't stay long. As Mary said, young Matthew will take over for me soon. But I'll leave you with I'll leave my remarks with the first lines of the Washington State Constitution. Article 1, Section 1. All political power is inherent in the people, and governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. And those governments exist to protect and maintain individuals' rights. That's how the state constitution starts. Those are the words that I live by, and those are the words I commend to you to live by. So thanks for having me. I'm sorry I have to dash, but I hope you'll have a good day here.